Um, and now we're going to go on to the main matches that we were going to be casting. Not to say that Jake versus Bojack is any lesser, but it is a less amount of games. And I think we're going to open with 5 versus Shiroime. This is going to be a PvT series. Actually, I think both of them are going to be PvT series. And the first map that they vetoed to is Heartbeat. So we'll be seeing the same map again. And we talked about this map a little bit last time we casted. Maybe we'll see a different side of it in TVP because it was largely TVZ in the other game. And I
Yep.
think it was PvP as well.
Yeah, I believe most of them were TVZ, and then we saw one PVZ.
PvP, I think it
Oh,
was.
it was PvP? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out in TvP. Obviously, Terran
I
can't
mean,
lift but to these islands, but
before we even like get into the actual game, like, what do you think of this map TVP? Do you think it favors Protoss just because of the open space?
let's take a look. I mean, let's introduce the players and then we can
Of
take a
course.
look. All right, so in the bottom right we have Azriel, who is the. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I got mixed up because this is the HD graphics. I couldn't tell that he was orange. This is Essie at the bottom right as the orange Protoss.
And on the bottom left, we have the White Terran Ezreal.
hmm So Azriel, aka Shiroime. He's a regular in the El Master Beginner StarCraft Discord. He's from France, I believe. So anyway, you were asking about the map. It is quite open in the middle, but I wouldn't say it's much more open than, say, FS. I mean, FS does have the walls that run vertically, which kind of can help in some push scenarios, but doesn't usually. Usually your push isn't like as fat as the entire side of the wall. And I think that
Mhm.
the same logic applies here. I feel like securing the high ground location, the high ground third here and here would be a little bit more difficult for Terran than on that fighting spear. I mean, definitely a lot more difficult because you don't have a direct path there, but taking an
Yep.
island expo is great for Terran on this map, I think, and it's not as good for Protoss because if there's an aggressive push and
Right.
Protoss took this base, all these probes are gonna die. So
Yeah, no, and like I feel like tanks would definitely show mileage if Protoss opts for uh
the Island Expo, yeah,
yeah, especially the proximity too. On the contrary, I feel like Protoss can't force as much of a pressure type of situation when Terran offs their island.
yeah.
So
The worst that Terran that Protoss can do is maybe get Templar in their army, and then when they are somewhere outside the Terran base, they can cast some storms uphill. That's probably the best option that Protoss has for punishing one of those bases, or maybe opening a Reaver in order to take their own island early, and then using the Reaver to harass in case the Terran did go for that island base. So I think that drop play is definitely an option for both races in this situation. Um, in the meantime, let's talk about the builds a little bit. It looks like SC is probably going to go Dragoon Scout. Or actually, no, here comes the probe coming out. He's going to go Cyber Scout. A little bit later, a little bit more economical, a little bit less safe because you can't react to BBS in time. But on average, most Terran players, they play Standard, they play Macro, they opt for the Factory FE or the Rax FE. So, not a terrible choice from SC here to scout a
yep.
little bit later.
You also want to consider this is game one.
hmm
I'm not sure if the Terran would decide to go for a BBS. I feel like BBS is more of like a mind game thing later down the set. So I'm sure he's not too worried about that.
I'm not sure I 100% agree with you, honestly. I think cheesing in the first game is kind of almost like a Brood War tradition. We have like in a series, it could really rattle your opponent if you cheese in the first game.
Right, like if you do it, you've got big ass balls.
Mhm.
But if not, no big deal.
I think an example of this, a great example of this, is July versus Best. Going into it, July was the washed up old pro fighting for his golden mouse, despite having
Yeah,
won in like his last win being like 2 years before that, and then
yeah.
like
On top of that, like the easiest road to the grand finals.
yeah,
Like he
all
beat like the
Protoss.
Rock, Backhoe, and like some no names.
Yeah, and then he matches up against Best, who was like, he's just came out the woodwork. He was having like the best season of his life in terms of OSL,
Yeah,
and then game one he gets cheesed, and I think Best was just flustered for the rest of the series. So I definitely think that there is merit to cheesing game one, but neither player has opted for that. Azrael did pull the SCVs off the gas. He has only one there, so and he has
oh,
started the command
this is
center.
an interesting factory expand. Seems like he's pulling off gas longer than the normal timing.
Yeah, he should have put
Opting
it
for a
back
quicker
on.
command center. Yep. Normally you want to put it around like 900, 950 or so. But it seems like he's using the excess mineral to build a faster command. Wondering if he's gonna go for a siege tank build. or siege mode build or mine behind this.
He I think he needs a bunker. His SCV did scout the Dragoons. I don't think he saw that there was a Nexus while the SCV was there, so he shouldn't be so certain about his defenses here. And factory bunker expand has become really popular nowadays,
Really
from what I know.
interesting.
Yeah, because it's safer and
To get a quicker command center,
yeah.
basically.
And what you said earlier, I think it has to be just a mistake from Azrael because generally when you start the command center, that's when you can put the SCVs back on gas, usually
Yep.
right away.
Yeah,
He
he's
just
still
kind
gonna
of
do
delayed.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But with this tank out now, he should be able to hold 2 Dragoons. I'm not sure about 3 if they come in.
I
Yeah.
feel like at this point it's gonna come down to Dragoon Micro in this exact situation.
Yeah.
You can get a clean shot or two off the tanks, but not good
Ooh.
Micro here. He's gonna have to back up. Yeah,
Uh,
he's taking too much hits at
yeah.
this point.
You definitely don't want to be taking anything to your main health with your first Dragoons. The
Yep.
weaker those Dragoons are, you might be overconfident with them, and then when push comes to shove, literally, when the 5 fact comes out or something like that, then you start losing Dragoons like all over the place, and you're thinking to yourself, "What the hell?" And it's because they all got injured earlier in the game. That's one of the weaknesses of Protoss units, in my opinion, is the fact that even though they heal shield, they're just so expensive, and a weakened Protoss unit is basically just a walking supply drain. I think almost.
Yeah.
It's better to have it than to not, obviously, but you might get overconfident as well in your next engage.
Right, it's like that extra tank splash is gonna make
Yeah.
all the difference.
Yeah, and we have SC going for his robotics facility here with the shuttle being built and the support bay before observers. He has a good read on his opponent's build, I think, knowing that he went for the fast expand, seeing the tanks and no vultures out. So he's going to go for Reavers and potentially abuse the fact that Shiroime does not yet have anti-air anywhere. He does. Oh, he's just starting the turret now in his natural. Possibly another one in the main. Yes, there we go, right under the command center. So this is DT placement turrets
Yep.
against Reaver. So just to clarify for anyone watching, is that you want to have the what's called these turrets next to your mineral line and kind of close to your production against DT. You can use your SCVs to protect them and repair them, and you can use obviously army to kill the DTs. If he was expecting or anticipating a Reaver, he would most likely see them. He would most likely rather put the turrets around the edges of his map to prevent the shuttle from coming in. And the shuttle is going to drop off a probe here at the high ground for SE, so he's going to go for that island expand. Might be
Oh,
slightly.
I do like that. It's like a 2-for-1.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I get to harass and I get an expansion behind
Yeah.
this.
As I was saying, drop play definitely has its merits on this map, and I think that that's what makes this map interesting. Quick shout out to Kamchak. Sounds like a Russian name, Kamchak. But yeah, shout outs to you for following. Thank you. I love this barracks float from
Yeah, I was just
Azrael.
about to say that too. Looks like he's gonna scout this
Yeah,
if SE decides to go straight.
yeah, and he's building a turret, so he's building both anti-DT and anti-Reaver turrets.
Yep,
Might be
I believe he did scan the robotics tech, so
that would make sense. Yeah, I heard the scanner go off. Let's see what he sees exactly. Yeah, it looks like he did get a scan off in there.
great move around from the shuttle too.
Yeah, don't want to come in from the angle that is most expected, I guess.
Yeah, no,
But
that's big brain play. It's like step number 1,
Mhm.
basically. Like, don't unga bunga your way into dropping.
So another thing to note, I think Azrael, I don't know why he's moving out with this one tank so far forward. I think that might leave him a little bit exposed. There's no need to be trying to secure space like this, but it also should be noted that he held against, obviously a relatively conservative opening, but he didn't make any bunkers, any mines, any vultures, just pure tank. So he saved a lot of money holding on early on. So I think, despite the fact that SE is going to get this quick third base, and interestingly enough, he's going for Forge already. Despite him getting this relatively quick third base, I feel like Shiroime's position is really good for this because here comes the 5-fac, and this mineral line will be right in the push path of this
Yeah.
5-fac.
It's interesting to see that he opted to go for 2 factory up to 8 tanks, and then save the rest of his minerals on factory, and it seems like he's gonna pump vultures the rest of the way, which is
Yeah.
a play I do definitely think is effective in a way. Just
Yeah.
get those tanks out first, and then just mass pump both, and then just constantly rally with your push.
Yeah, he had, unfortunately for him, he had 5 idle SCVs, maybe a bad rally here, and he was supply blocked pretty critically.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt for a timing push.
Yeah, he
Gonna
wasn't
affect the
ready.
count.
Yeah, he wasn't ready to pump from all 5 factories when they came up, and he's adding 2 depots at a time now. I believe before that he was only adding one. And as this is happening, I mean, SC, I mean, it should be noted that he hasn't done any damage with his shuttle, which is a speed shuttle now, by the way.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a commitment and a half.
but
Like, I would love to see some more utility out of the Reaver,
yeah.
especially if you're researching speed.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if he's detected the 5 factory yet. It doesn't seem like there's an observer in his base.
Mm-mm.
So I would like to see the observer in his base, and then the moment you see that, just delay some time, you know? Because
Yeah,
you
and
know the push is gonna come.
I think he didn't even notice this push coming out. The observer
Oh
is
god,
just
this
outside
is
the
not
vision.
good.
I mean, there is a fair amount of dragoons here, but it should be noted that
Yeah, there's no speed buff behind this.
yeah, SC, his Reaver is all the way across the map. He didn't transfer probes even to his third, so his third has been only a money sink so far. So he's not getting that.
Although, with these amount of Dragoons, I feel like he could catch
Oh,
these tanks off guard.
yeah, this is a fat
Or else
amount
that
of
might
dragoons,
not even be necessary without Vulture support.
and no
Oh my
siege at
god.
all. No siege at all.
Great
Leads to it.
target, great target. I
No,
feel like he may have pushed out a little too late. The Reaver wasn't
yeah,
even necessary at this point.
yeah, not just too late, but also a little bit too aggressive. You don't want to walk into the Protoss army and then start sieging up. So I think that's why he decided not to siege up there. But if he had sieged up instantly and started laying mines, he might have been able to at least trade better. But losing your five
Oh,
fact
and
push
a
like this,
Reaver drop as we speak. Let's see how much damage we get out of this. I don't
oh,
agree with this
that's
SCV
fat.
attacking.
No,
No,
absolutely
you got her
not.
out. Oh my god.
That was at least what, like 8 SCVs, one
Oh my
vulture,
god.
one.
He's...
Oh,
Wow.
oh,
One
one
more?
more. No,
Oh,
got glitched out.
nice
Okay.
glitch, nice.
Yeah.
So one thing I definitely noticed while I was reviewing replays for our team
Uh huh.
is it seems like lower level Terran players they are good at making tanks, but they're not so good at utilizing vultures. Seems to
Yeah.
be a very common theme at lower level. And as you see here, he pushed a little too early, and
A little too late,
pretty
you
much
mean?
cost him the game. If
I think it was too late because of that supply block. I mean, he could have pushed at that
yeah.
exact timing, but with another 2, 3 tanks and another 8 vultures
Oh
or
my
so.
god, bad rally. He loses 2 tanks for free. This is adds insult to injury. I'm not sure how Shiroime is gonna bounce back from this, to be honest. At this point,
Yeah.
knowing that you're this behind, you might just want to go for a third.
Mhm.
Go for a 2-1 and pray. But I'm not sure. He doesn't seem to have the units to back this up.
I mean, to be fair, taking a third at the island would be relatively safe and easy for him, I think. He doesn't have the
Like,
starport yet,
yeah,
but
like I'm
there's a
thinking maybe
starport
like
itself.
a fast third and then a fast fourth from an island base is the
Mhm.
only way I could see him.
It's
Other
possible.
than that, it's not looking good for
Yeah.
the boy.
And SC is posturing to take his fourth base now at the 3 o'clock. So, given the map control he has, I'm surprised he hasn't tried to at least like soft contain the Terran right now.
Yeah. This might be due to the lack of observer and
Yeah.
even lack of gateway.
Mhm.
It seems like he's still on pure dragoon composition,
Mhm.
so I would love to see him make more gateways and add speedbots to the mix.
Yeah. And clearing these mines would be helpful too. You
Yeah.
don't want to give Terran this kind of like security blanket of sorts. You know, like Terran's gonna know as soon as you push into him with this. You can just scare the Terran by killing all the mines, like limiting his vision. And now actually he's gonna run in, and he's gonna see this Nexus. He might actually take it down. There's enough mines to lay mines on the ramp and stuff. I think that would be a
Great
good
play
choice
right
here.
here.
Lay the mines,
Yup,
yes,
there's
good,
some
good.
mines, yep.
Good, good. And now go back to
Target
focusing the Nexus. Yeah.
Yup.
And this Nexus should
Go
go
all the way
down.
back.
It should
He
go
has to
down.
cancel now.
If it doesn't cancel, he's gonna lose what, like 300 some minerals? Oh no, well he loses
It
400.
seemed like it was canceled.
I'm not sure. I wasn't looking at the minerals, unfortunately, for that. But
So, I do want to go back to SC's gameplay. He definitely has a pretty far ahead lead.
mhm.
So the biggest problem I see right now is that he does not have the observer. And we do see another Reaver drop. Oh my god, with a fatty shot.
Oh!
That's 2 shots right there. He had to have lost at least 8 to 10.
Jeez. Yeah, and the
Oh my
SCV's
god.
all stacked up right on top of the Reaver, and these speech.
And
Is he
nice
coming
pick up!
back for it?
Oh,
Are you
nice
kidding
pick-
me?
Ah, a little too late.
I
But
thought
I do like the play. I do like the play.
that was
That was great.
it was worth a try. Good job. I think the biggest weakness for me watching SC's play is the supply block and the gateway count. You can't be running on
Yeah.
5 gates against 5 factories. I mean, even if you're taking
And,
these good
Dude,
trades,
while we're talking, Shirohime seems to have rebuilt a pretty formidable force.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not sure if SE does have the units to counter this. If Shirohime
I don't know.
places his units correctly.
Yeah.
With mine and tank, dude, and the lack of zealot, this could hurt.
Oh, and he's gonna
And
hit
this is
that mineral
exactly what
line.
he's doing. Yep, place some mines and then post up. I'd love to see him bring like 2 to 3 SCVs and turn it up and just further the containment.
Oh!
Yo, that is money. That's payback
Oh!
for those Reavers. Woo!
4, 8,
But not enough
3,
mine coverage? He could
1.
block this off. Holy shit.
I think SC is just kind of styling on him right now because he's going mass Dragoons. He's getting way too many Dragoons, but this is going to
my
backfire
God.
on him.
This is
SC.
not working out in his favor.
Siege tanks are so good against Dragoons, and he can't run in because of the mines.
Shit. See, this is what we needed in the first push.
Yeah.
The mines? Mines and vultures, dude. That's all.
And siege mode, yeah.
True.
Jesus, he melted so many Dragoons. Blue soup
Bro,
everywhere.
and the probes, that was payback for all those Reaver harasses that SC did on him. It's like, my guy, like this shit ain't a one-way street, you know? I got you both ways.
This siege tank has 15 kills.
Whew.
There was at least 8, 3, and 4 that I spotted before
easy.
so that's a total of what, like 13? No, 15.
Dude, and he's
Bad at math.
still on 7 gateways.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about this. Oh my god.
Definitely
and the
not
Island
enough.
Expo definitely backfires here.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. How it's so risky to
Nice
have it
mine
here.
placement. This is all you need. Oh my god.
Shiroime definitely cleaning up for himself a little bit here.
What a bounce back.
And the fourth
After that first push?
Yeah. It just goes to show you, don't give up, don't surrender, even when you're behind. Especially
Never,
at this level, your opponent's making as many mistakes as you are.
Yes.
So, you know, don't worry about it too much. And I like the fact that it looks like he's going to try to slow crawl into the Protoss Natural here, which is really good. And now, SC, I mean, he's taking a third of his own, which I really like behind this.
Yup, beautiful play.
SC's, he didn't remake his fourth base, and oh my god, so many melting Dragoons. Another run in, too many mines here, no obs. Oh, he gets so lucky with the what's called with the snipes here, but this flanking Dragoon force is going down. The Dragoons in the natural are dead. This is 1A, 2A territory, I think.
Yeah.
Zealot drop's finally going to happen here. Zealots are finally out. Speed Shuttle is going to do a lot of damage here.
Speed Shuttle might change things around. I see no turrets.
Oh, the mines! These mines! 2 Speed Shuttles.
Shuttle. This could change everything, dude.
Oh!
Very nice, very nice.
Great play, but still losing Dragoons. He still doesn't have enough at home to hold, and Vessel out. I love this for high ground vision, too, and for detection in case DTs. I would like to see him make maybe a dropship now as well, just to take that island base between his natural and third, and maybe even drop some vultures in the main.
Dude, I love the tanks above north that were kiting those Dragoons. It wasn't just a miss rally, wow.
And he drew them in. Wow. Shiroime showing his force now.
He's very aware. He's very aware.
Showing his strength. The Nexus is down for SC. I mean, he has so much money, but he just now got to like a decent gateway count. Like and his Arbiter is almost done, but not quite there yet. And with Vessel out so early, he's almost gonna have 100 energy by the time the Arbiter is done. I wonder if he has EMP. If he has EMP, then it's just a total wrap. And, probes are going down now for S. He's about to be on 0 mining. So much damage.
That was a crazy turnaround.
Yeah.
Oh
never underestimate the Terran. And yeah, this 2 Dragoon flank, like, there was so many Dragoons up here, and he's lost so many of them since then. Just by getting drawn in, losing a couple, and now SC has to be feeling desperate. 2 Arbiters out, actually. I didn't notice that there was 2 Stargates, but one EMP. Yeah, one EMP here could just like pretty much GG SC, I think. I mean, not that losing the Nexus here isn't GG as well. 3 base Terran. Yeah, what a play by Shiro. What a comeback. I mean, SC, normally they do say, you know, like make 2 control groups of Dragoons before you start making Zealots, but against 5-fac, you rarely get up to more than like 14 or 16 before you notice and you have to start making the Zealots and the Shuttles, yeah.
Pretty much the moment you scout the 5-fac, it's insta-Zealot.
Yeah.
With whatever goons you have. So,
yeah, and GG from SC. Yeah, he knows that it's over. He's not even going to go for the bust. He knows that he barely has enough to remake a Nexus, and what a game one.
That was SC's game to lose. Like, he busted up the first push so
really hard, yeah.
And then from there, I feel like he should have just made zealots behind that.
Yeah.
Maybe made a little too many goons. Definitely did notice he was supply blocked for a good chunk of the mid to late game.
Yeah, like
So that
130
hurt a
supply.
lot. Yeah, 131.
Hmm. And I mean, the Reaver Harass was also netting him a lot of points too.
That's what
So
I mean.
he was ahead in more the ways than one. You know, he
He
was
did, he
hitting
did,
the.
he did so much, and then out of nowhere, like his units just evaporate, and that just goes to show, dude. Like unit competition and PBT as Protoss, it's crucial.
Shiro's in the chat right now. He's saying, "Do you remember my first failed push during the game where I didn't siege? This is not the worst thing I've done, if I remember." So yeah,
Oh god,
there might be more plays in our future.
dude, no spoilers, my guy.
Um, M Shift, thank you for the follow. We're going to be casting your series after this one, so stay tuned for that. So going into game two, SC has chosen cross game, and we have. I should have said his name later because I'm looking at Azrael right now. Azrael's the yellow Terran here on the left side of cross game.
And at 3 o'clock we have the orange Protoss SC. So
Wait.
this map,
This is not cross game, is it?
yeah, what map is this?
I messed up. There's, I forget what.
Crossing Fields?
Yeah, crossing field. That's what it is. Yeah.
Is
Okay.
was this a Africa map?
Yeah, I believe so. Bisu versus Flash happened on this.
No, that was Heartbreak Ridge.
No, no, an iconic game from ASL, I believe.
Oh, wow.
What happened was Bisu went 2 base carrier, and Flash he went like deep 6 in response. He went like 6 racks Marines.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, I remember that game. I
Yeah.
remember that game. That was crazy.
yeah, that was a great game. So I wonder if SC might be thinking of doing something similar here. There's definitely a lot of options on this map. For those of you that don't know, there is that safe expansion in the back, only accessible
So,
by air.
I'm looking at this map. It seems like this is like almost like a tribute to Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, it's like Heartbreak Ridge meets Loki meets Heartbreak Ridge
Very
definitely
interesting,
because
yeah, with like a backdoor third.
yeah. So the
Just looking at this map, it seems like this is going to be very Terran favored. Would you with such a shorter amount of distance to travel?
yeah, all these
And,
chokes, all these high
bridges
grounds.
to cover with tank. But alternatively, I could see carrier play being very effective here.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrier play might be the answer here, but although recalls would be good as well, I mean, this back base is not likely to be thoroughly defended against air, even though that's the only
Yeah.
way for the opponent to approach it. But I think carriers might abuse the water here really well, and just pretty much lock down access to an entire side of the map easily.
While we were talking, Shiroime decides to go for a really fast refine. Is this normal or?
Wait, what was his refinery timing?
It was like it finished like even before barracks was happening. So is this like a build to get like a faster factory? I've never seen something like this.
I don't know. If it was 10 racks, 10 gas, then it could be the openings of a strong FD.
Factory 225. That's pretty fast.
I think this might be a strong
Holy
FD.
shit.
And he's for strong FD, you keep your SCVs on gas until
Oh yeah, it might be 10 racks, 10 gas. Yeah.
yeah,
like you
10
said.
10 10, yeah. But he is keeping SCVs a little bit longer than normal, so it might be actually a 2-fac. Although now that we see the second depot that's kind of out of the picture, maybe he's... Oh no, there goes the SCVs, they're taken off. And yeah, this looks like it should be a strong FD if I'm reading this correctly. Meanwhile, SC playing conservative. Dragoon, no range yet from him, even though he can afford it. So I'm starting to... Oh, there it is. Alright. Maybe just a little bit late. Yeah, sure. You're in the channel. Okay, he's reacting to what I'm talking about right now.
Alright, thanks
Yeah.
for confirming. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the strong FD, 10 10 10. Generally, I think you're supposed to pull your SCVs off at like 88 gas, so he might have banked up a little bit more than he wants to, but you do end up needing a grand total of 450 gas because you need the factory is 100, 2 tanks makes it 300.
Yep,
Mine
the
up
add-on.
add-on is 50 and mine is 100. So 450 gas one way or another. I don't think he should be putting SCVs back on gas, actually. I think he should be saving minerals for the CC after this.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, he might have too much gas after this.
Yep, I believe for FD variants, you don't need the third SCV back that soon.
Mhm.
2 should be enough.
And especially as I mentioned before, I mean, he's almost going to be at the right amount of gas soon. Here's the tank. Here's the... Oh, he started siege upgrade. I was like, hold up, right? But
No, he's
it's
gonna get
mine.
supply blocked
It's
for-
mine.
He's deciding to go strong FD.
Yeah, that's not good. You want the marine production to be constant. You want as many marines as possible, and yeah, like looking at it this way, he has way more gas than he needs to for his second tank now. Like all this gas could have been used to get minerals more efficiently and take your natural expansion.
So I do want to point out, it seems like SE decided to go for a backdoor expansion.
Hmm.
It seems like in this position as Protoss, strong FD and even 2-fact can get neutered just because you can hold high ground.
Yeah.
So I do approve of this Nexus expand at the back
Hmm.
for much defensive posture.
Yeah, and for that same token, that's why when I first saw the Siege Expand being the upgrade choice here, I was like, ooh, well, not Siege Expand, sorry, Siege Mode being the upgrade choice, I was like, ooh, maybe, because that way you can slow push your way up the ramp, you know what I mean?
Yup.
There's such nice little nooks and crannies here where you can bring some SCVs to look up the hill, maybe make a turret, and then the Siege Tanks would shoot so deep inside the base. I think they can almost range this gas, actually, from the low
Oh my
ground,
god.
even. Yeah, so...
Really?
So I think that, yeah, siege tanks are nuts. So I think that maybe siege mode would have been a good idea here. But now there's 4 dragoons. I think, has SE scouted this?
No, he has not. No probe in sight.
Yeah, this is,
Okay, and yeah, I do like Shirohime's choice to expand behind this push, so let's see how this goes.
yeah,
SE's gonna be playing in the blind here. Seems
Mhm.
like he's going for a fast third.
Yeah. And fast third could struggle against this, but there is a decent amount of dragoons out already. He does
Okay,
have
he
two
does have
gateways.
2 gates behind this, yep.
Yeah, but he's
You're
not pumping
right.
dragoons, notably. Now he's finally adding his first, the
There
next
we
one.
go.
And is he spending on probes? No, he added a second gas. Okay, no, he is making both dragoons now. Okay, so 5 dragoons, 2 tanks, looks like 7-ish marines, and 2 SCVs. 1 SCV, 1 vulture. So
Yeah, he saw the vulture, he's gotta know something is coming.
the arc isn't the greatest. 1 vulture, 1 dragoon is very far out in front. So I think that there is a. Oh, I'm not.
Oh, with the aggressive bunker?
This is. Ooh, I don't know. He let the vulture die with only laying 1 mine, so kind of excuse me, kind of
That goon
suspect.
is so weak. Okay.
Oh, maybe if he
He's
overdraws.
gonna get one. He's
Oh.
gotta fall back. He's eating too much damage.
Yeah, the stutter
But
step
2
failed
more
him
goons
here.
need to come out
Oh.
to reinforce.
Oh.
He's in decent position if he micros correctly. Let's see
Yeah.
if he's getting siege mode behind this. It seems like he.
Yes. Another bunker being made at the front. A little bit too far forward. I think maybe a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the Marines are loaded up. Is he trying to bait?
Into the
Oh my
mine.
god.
Oh!
He does lose his
Oh!
mine.
Oh!
Fatty mine.
Wow. That mine had hacker range. Holy
Dude, that was
shit.
crazy range.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And this bunker is now. It's not in range of the Nexus, I don't think, but he
While it's not in range, one thing to also note is he's not getting a tank behind this, so a double bunker might have been too much at this point, since goons have range and no SCVs to repair. Yeah, it's not in range, unfortunately.
Yeah, but he did kill another dragoon that was within range of the second bunker. That should be noted.
You always want to get that extra goon.
And this is still annoying for
Oh
him,
my
you
god,
know?
dude, and the goon in the back, I wonder if he notices it's on 10 health. He could just
Oh,
he does not.
it's okay. More
I
dragoons.
feel like the damage has been pretty decent for Shirohime. However, he did lose both of his tanks, and now SE is on 3 base.
Yeah, I mean, 3 base against 2 base Tyrant, not the worst situation to be in. The mining at the 3rd base was delayed for quite some time. But now SE's going up to his 5 gateways that last game he had for like 10 minutes. Hopefully he'll have them he'll add a little bit more faster. I think
Oh wow, and he's maybe going
fast
for a
4th? No,
Yeah.
what?
Wow, dude, behind.
The greed.
No, I do like this though. It's a very confident build. He does know he went for a strong FD, lost both tanks.
Yeah.
The next step here I would like to see is if he brought more observers to Shirohime's main, just to see what he's up to, and then react accordingly.
Yeah, and Shiroime very low on units right now. That definitely hurt him a lot. I mean, even with that last mine and killing the extra dragoon, I still don't think that was the best trade for you. When you lose your first 2 tanks, you lose so much initiative on the map. Good for him that he did secure an expansion behind this, though, and it looks like he is thinking about getting his 3rd now as well. So that will put him on a competitive timing against this 4th against SE. It's going to come down to, it's going to go into a macro game, I feel like.
Wow, and a very fast science facility. Just in time for the +2 too.
Ooh,
So,
dropship play on this map as well. I mean, SE getting these early cannons again. Generally, I wouldn't agree with this, but on this map, I can understand why. Because it's such a long travel distance to go and defend this base, just having cannons is usually enough. But I mean, there's also the chance of a siege tank drop. Sorry, siege tank drop, which can shoot from the high ground down onto these cannons and the probes. So it's gonna come down to whether or not Azrael goes for it or not. I always like to see Terrans making one drop ship while they're going for the
Yeah.
science
Yeah,
facility.
because as Protoss, like, think about it. Knowing that they have one dropship, whether they use it or not, it's on your mind, you know?
Yeah, and it
It's
forces
just
you
one extra thing
cannons.
to worry about. Yep, forcing cannons as well, good point.
Yeah. And if you think about it this way, each cannon is a potential gateway that you're not building, right?
Yep.
So he could be up to, if you count the 3 cannons in the...
Oh my god, an additional 4
Yeah.
at his fourth.
Imagine
That's
if
600, 450. Yeah, it's over 1,000 minerals at this point.
instead of those 7 cannons, it was 7 gateways. Think about
Yep.
it. That would be nuts.
7
Right?
gateways are just an extra round of units.
Yeah.
And it does come into play. He's extremely broke. I feel like due to these cannons, it might have been an overcommitment. But it seems like he's playing it very safe.
Yeah, agreed. I mean,
Yeah, dude, I would love to see SE utilize his observers in a better way. Seems like he's getting absolutely no information out of it.
yeah, and he
As we
could
saw-
fly into this main easily. There's no anti-air anywhere here that would prevent that. He could be in the natural of the Terran, the forward natural. He could see that there's no turrets, that there's only 5 siege tanks, no anti-air. He could have just come in with like a zealot and 4, a few 4 zealots in a shuttle and
Yeah,
done a
if you
bunch of
brought an
damage here.
observer, like, I know you, like, if you saw this, you would just bust.
Yeah, I would be like, you get
Oh,
it.
no mine, no turret? Gotcha.
Right? I mean, now the tank count is getting a little bit more heavy. 7 tanks makes it a little bit difficult, especially for, again, this really Dragoon-heavy composition from SE. I mean, it's still not bad. This is the kind of situation wherein getting a Dragoon-heavy composition early on is good for you because you get that 24, like that 2 groups of Dragoons early on, knowing that Terran's not going to push, but he doesn't know that for sure. I mean, he doesn't have Observer to confirm. This is the #1 issue so far for SE, is the lack of vision of what Terran is doing.
And in the dark, he seems like he's going for another expansion at 6 o'clock.
Jeez.
Wow.
So greedy. I mean, it goes both ways, though, because Azrael doesn't see anything that SC is doing either. They're both kind of playing like macro alone right now on their halves the map.
Stand corrected. He has no scan at 11 minutes into the game, which is not ideal because at this point you do want to get a gauge on when Protoss is opting for Arbiter, or even possibly.
You cut out that carrier. You were probably saying,
Harrier,
yeah.
Harrier.
All right. So one thing to note is that, I mean, Shiroime is now going up to 9 factories, 3 add-ons. That's a sick count of factories, and look at SE's gateway count. Again, I find it lacking. I mean, he only has 7 gateways up right now. He could afford to have at least 12, 15 by now, I think. But if this push goes as hard as it could off of this factory count, I'm concerned for SE.
By the way,
Yeah.
from Shiroime.
Yep, very clean, very nice.
To answer your question, Shirohime, for 2-1, normally I like to build the academy similar to the armory, especially if I'm going for a fast third.
I remember last time I asked you this like many years ago, you said something like 55 supply, 50 supply.
Oh god, I was that much of a nerd back then?
Yeah, you said 55 supply, I think. You said buy 55.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if...
I'm not sure if I should be proud or ashamed.
Well, we're not even sure if you were right, so... I just thought I'd remind you, maybe you would remember, but I guess you don't. So now these vultures finally going to see that there's a fuck ton of dragoons here. He's going to back out of here. He should have laid mines at the expansions way earlier.
This. Knowing that he can't do much with the vulture harass, just lay mines, dude. Honestly, like, what harm could that cause? Only harm it could cause is Protoss walks into it, and this is highly probable with SC with the lack of observer.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of low-level Terran players don't do, is they just don't have the mine coverage that you see in higher-level games. And I think that one tip that I really like to do that might help people out, like Shiro in this case, you can use the minimap to lay mines. You just select a group from your natural and you send like 12 vultures here, and then say lay mine, and then you shift deselect 2, and then you tell them to lay mines here, and then you shift deselect, and you tell them to lay mines here, and there you go, full map coverage without even moving your screen away from like your natural or your factories or whatever.
Dude, I feel like that's like a common tip I give to low-level Terrans too. And like I tend to always say, I'm like, your macro was good, your 2-1 timing was decent, you had a pretty good third timing. But dude, you have no mine, like no mine coverage.
No mine coverage, and that means no scouting as well.
Like I told him too, it's like it doesn't hurt because it's free scouting, free damage. You have the fastest units in the game for potential harass. Like,
Mhm.
just save the mines on idle time. That's all you gotta do.
And they produce faster than Zealots as well. So not only are they faster than Zealots, they produce faster than Zealots. So keep
That's
that in
so
mind.
fucked up.
Yeah, it is fucked up. But I mean, we've been talking about this 9 fact push, but it's SE that is the one who's gotten to 200 already at 14 minutes.
Agreed. This is what I like to see. Zealous behind
Yeah.
this massive amount of gateway count,
Yeah,
which I do like. It's a good change of pace from.
yeah, now he's adding the gateways. I feel like he could have added them earlier, maxed out a little bit earlier. But I don't understand. I mean, Shiro is the one that's really struggling to macro. I think right now he's been getting
Yep,
supply blocked, perhaps, because he should have had the production to be maxed as well by this point. I feel like,
absolutely.
and if he was
Very
maxed,
closer to max, especially. Yep, he did hit the 2-1 timing, so that's usually your cue to push out.
yeah, at 2-1 timing, you should be at least 180 supply, if I remember correctly. You could wait until 200 as well, just because you're going to trade better against Protoss. But we already have the Arbiter out for Essie. It's almost at 100 energy. Do we have the Science Vessels out for Shiro? I don't see them anywhere. He has.
Seems like it just popped out.
Yeah, he could. He had such an early science, so he definitely could have afforded to make it earlier to get to that energy, so you can EMP in the first engage. It's so huge. And it looks like Essie is going to start thinking about making moves. Maybe he's going to slow crawl to take a fourth.
Yep, I like this. Just patrolling around, um, forcing Terran with the threat of possible bust. This is good. I'm curious to see if he got a stasis or recall behind it. Because this is the pivotal moment, I feel like, for late game PvT. Are you going to go for the bust or are you going to go for the recall?
I think in this situation, if I was Essie, I think, I would probably go for the stasis, just knowing how good your position is on the map, right? The fact that you've expanded so much so early, your main prerogative is to, like, hold on to what you already got. You don't need to damage the Terran, really. If you just contain them to 3 base, that's nothing. Okay, this should be a massive battle. It's going to come down to the EMP, if he has one. Oh,
but one thing to note is SC does have the high ground here, which is huge.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Scanning ahead.
Yep. He does have
stasis. What a fatty
one
stasis.
One more.
On the science nope, never mind. On tanks is good. I would have. I mean, since he had so much time, I would have liked to see the stasis on the back tanks because now it's a little bit hard to engage these. But still, this is so many tanks out of the equation, and now Dragoons are going to be having decent trades against these tanks, even though they usually don't. I still think that more Zealots is necessary from Essie. Maybe he overprobed.
Yep. I actually wanted to point that out as well. Prior to engagement, it seems like he did have a lack of Zealot. The stasis definitely does help, but he's going to lose more than he should.
Yeah, and I feel like once these tanks unfreeze, right?
But
it's going to be scary.
He's about to clean up.
Yeah.
Great move in. Great move in.
But look at how many tanks he has available to him now. And SC in the backdrop behind this, just the first macro round coming out from this engagement.
But honestly, I feel like it's a pretty good trade for SC. He's on 5 base. He's popped down a lot of tanks. At this point, he just has to macro up, which it seems like he's not doing. But he does have a fuck ton of gateways, which is great.
The problem was, I think, more than anything, is the fact that he chose to commit with those Dragoons. I feel like after a certain point, he should have been like, you know what, I think I should fall back, because then you can just pump, you can just pump pure Zealot from your gateways. Dragoons take longer to build, they move slower than speed lots. You wanted to conserve your Dragoon count. He didn't have to win with this push.
Yeah, no, dude, and like,
now,
I understand from like a Terran player's point of view, that's what hurts the most. You lose tanks and then he dips, you can't even kill them.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah, and now, because as I was saying, like, because the amount of tanks that got retained due to stasis is so large, he might actually lose this base, and suddenly SC's situation is not as good. He like, you know, he blew his wad with his stasis, right? And now, what is he gonna do with pure Dragoon against this composition?
So he's maxed, and I see more goons than Zealot. That's
Again,
not good.
yeah. And I think he must have overprobed, honestly, because his I haven't seen his army go above like 3 or 4 control group. You could be at least, I think, 5.
If you notice saturation, it's very well saturated on every base.
But all these probes are going to die, and this might actually work in SC's favor slightly, because he now is going to be able to produce more army. But
I do want to point out, or I do want to ask you rather, you do say that he's oversaturated on probes, right?
Yeah.
When would be a good timing to stop?
I don't know the timing on the clock. It's kind of like by feel. you should kind of figure it out when you get your first max out. You should know it's like, okay, my max out is kind of light, you know? That's the feeling that you get. It's kind of like, I don't have enough units to really do much with this. You generally want to have somewhere around 65 to 75 workers, from what I know, in PvT. So if you're getting to max out and you only have, let's say, 100 army supply, right, including the arbiters and everything, that means you overprobed, you know? And I think the over dragooning is definitely still a factor as well. Uh,
Wow, look at Shirohime's natural. He's ready to bounce back.
yeah,
So many tank and vulture.
yeah,
It's not gonna be looking good for SE without Zealot. And it seems like he's still pumping goons.
yeah, and
Like
it's
every
because he
single
keep
gateway is pumping goon.
it's
Oh
because
my god.
he's losing all of his dragoons in every fight, so he's forced to
Yeah.
remake them, and then he overmakes them. And
Yeah,
as
that's
yeah,
definitely a common problem too.
yeah, and Shiro, the only thing he needs to do now, I think, is take a fourth and a fifth, because
Yep.
that behind this push, because he did the damage he needed to do, denied mining from like one of the freshest bases that SE has like access to. SE is realistically speaking on like 2.5 almost mined out bases because of his
Yeah,
saturation.
like on the contrary, Shiro has very solid unit composition.
Yeah, and Shiro does need to start transferring SCVs. Does need to start expanding more. But other than that, this position is good for him. He's going to take this high ground. Getting this high ground is going to potentially open the floodgates for denying the top base for SC, and at that point, he's going to be really hurting. Oh, but okay, I like this move from SC. He's going to take the high ground through this ramp before the siege is done.
Yup.
Yeah, but still so Dragoon heavy.
Yeah, not enough zealots, dude. You can't bust this.
You can't do anything about this.
No matter how many goons you have, tanks are too good.
Yeah, after a certain like amount, you know, like when there's a critical mass of siege tanks, no matter dragoons can beat it, basically. Especially
Not
if
only
there's terrain
not only
features.
critical amount. Yeah, this is 3-3 here, folks.
3-3. Very nice upgrade timings from Shiro to get to 3-3 so fast. And I mean, to be honest, I mean SE does have a 2 attack and 1 armor. Armor not that important, but the 2 attack is something that you rarely see low level Protoss players get. They either upgrade too much or they upgrade too little.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this wraparound from SE, but Shiro should have been aware of this. He did step on some mines on the way here. Oh, what's up, SE? AKA Phytrus, AKA Taco Bell Blast. How you doing? Oh man, so many
Oh
tanks
god.
going down. Yeah,
you
the
should have
vessel.
to back up.
The
Back
vessel
up.
out
He
of-
does have vessel. Oh.
That's a turning point right there.
This could hurt as SE is technically very broke. He's only on 1 mining base.
Hmm.
Oh my god, he lost like a full control of tanks.
Yeah,
This is not exactly what he needed.
yeah. I mean, he does get his 4th up, which is good. He does transfer some workers to his 3rd, it looks like, but maybe not. Actually, his 3rd is so undersaturated. It only has 10 SCVs on the what's called on the minerals, and now his bank is kind of drying up, and SE is remaxed. For one,
Yeah, no, that's those tanks. Losing those tanks hurt a lot.
one thing I can say is
honest.
that at least SC's macro is pretty fucking solid, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
look how many gateways he has. First of all, and second of all is the fact that he's getting up to 200 faster now than he did in the first engage. But still,
But still pure goon.
pure goon.
I
But
don't see a single zealot in sight.
There's like 2 zealots in his natural, one that's trapped under a gateway here. I don't.
Oh my god, dude, there's more dragoons coming out. Oh my god. Is this like a I'm gonna style on you type of thing? Like, yo, fuck you, Chobo and Phaser, you don't know shit.
I don't know, man. I have to call this heavily suspect. This is heavily suspect. Like normally,
Like, sir, you are under investigation for fucking producing 3 control groups of dragoon, my guy. Like, what the fuck?
this is at least 4, bro. Yo, Foxbat saying the
Dude,
goon
that's
squad has a
so
lot.
many.
I mean, this composition only works in one situation, as far as I know, and that's when you have a control group of Corsair to do D-Web. Then you can go pure Dragoon D-Web, right? That's the only way that this works. Because you have to put the tanks out of commission so that the Dragoons can trade favorably against pretty much everything else that Terran has. But this feels like a maybe. Ooh, nice EMP, and it hit like 20 of the 30 Dragoons he has here.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, needs to siege up. He moved up intentionally, and then he just doesn't siege up. Like Shiro, you looking
Every
away at
unit
all the wrong
counts.
times.
Yeah, he's so broke now.
Hmm.
Wow. Is Essie saying more wrong? Pure dragoons all day? Dude, what the fuck?
GG.
GG.
I mean, on the other hand, when you're on, when he was on 3 bases and probably his gas is depleted, talking about Shiro, of course. Um, as the gases deplete, the amount of tanks that you can produce decreases also. So more and more Dragoons towards the later game might make sense, if especially if Terran doesn't have the best army retention. But this is not, no.
I think he caught a break.
This gives me a panic attack when I see that many Dragoons, because yeah, and Shiro's saying I have a problem with sieging up. That's definitely something I've noticed so far. Um, no offense, but okay. So 1-1 between SE and Shiro, and we're gonna go into game 3. Uh, let's see what Shiro has chosen. He's chosen Fighting Spirit. Very standard, very solid, very good map for TVP. So let's see how it plays out. Oh shit! I wouldn't wait for you. No, I'm sorry. I did it again. I excluded you.
Good.
All right. It's all right. I'm coming out. I'll be there. I'll be there. All right. All right. It's up. Okay. Let's get into it. Alright, so we have Essie spawning at the top right as the red Protoss, saying that his fursona is a Dragoon. Alright,
On the bottom right, we have the purple Terran Shiroime.
yeah. So this is going to be vertical spawns, and it's going to be Protoss counterclockwise from Terran, which is pretty good for Terran, I think. There's a number of reasons why. First of all, is because Protoss can't really take this natural third of theirs, because every Terran push is going to hit there pretty quickly, and it's on the way basically to the Protoss natural for any pushes in the future. So often what you'll see is sometimes Terran will actually take this as their fourth base. They'll take the Protoss as third, and that sets them up for a favorable map split later on in the game. And another thing to note is that pushing vertically is better on this map than horizontally, I think, is because partially because of this wall to the left of you. It's harder to flank a Terran force that's hugging the wall and pushing up towards your natural, or even hugging the water. If you misclick your army a little bit, you can get messed up by these walls here. So I would say that slight positional advantage for Shiro in this situation on FS. Now we see a gateway from Shiro, and we're gonna see a barracks from. Sorry, gateway from SC, barracks from Shiro. I'm struggling, dude. I need to go get another beer after this one to refuel myself. Get myself thinking straight again. Got a gas coming up, and yeah, so it's looking very standard for both players so far. Nothing too outrageous in these first 2 games, to be honest. I mean, besides the Dragoon count, besides the Speed Shuttle Reaver, these games have been pretty clean, pretty standard. I think the only thing that held Shiro back in that last game was the siege up timing in a couple of engages, and the macro when he first got to 9 factories. You need to start adding like 3 depots.
One thing to note, it was also towards the late game where he lost like 10 tank to the cloaked Dragoons.
Yeah.
While he was mining out. Definitely not a good look. Every unit matters at that point.
Yeah, especially when you're like mined out in your main and your first base. Like you only on 2 mineral lines, like 1.5, given the way that he was mining them. So.
Oh no, we see a idle SCV at Shiro's gas. Has it only been mining 2 SCVs at a time?
It has to have, yeah, for a while now.
His factory timing is so late.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, he's so focused on scouting with this SCV here, honestly. But he hasn't actually seen that much of the Protoss base despite being here for so long, I think. That's part of the problem. I mean, okay, now he's going to go look, but he needs to find this Cybernetics core wherever it's at. Here's the Citadel. Oh, he finds it. Nice, nice. Okay. Okay, so now it's worth it. Oops. Alright. So, what's going to be the response to the fast Citadel? And is SC going to continue with it? So far he did take the SCVs off gas. Probably has to go mines, right?
Yeah.
Would you go eBay already, or wait
Me
until Command Center?
personally, I like mines,
Hmm.
first, because I know that they're not gonna be able to produce enough. Wow, he cancels a Citadel, by the way.
Ooh, sneak,
Mind
sneak.
games, yeah.
Take the
Because yeah, no,
Nexus instead.
if he, what is it? If I did scout a Citadel, I do like to go mines followed by you, because I feel like mines give you the offensive position,
Mm-hmm.
and you can lay them forward as well. So instead of playing much of a more defensive style of play, I do like a mix of both, and I feel like mines kind of force that on Protoss.
Yeah, and we see the engineering bay going down now right after the command center. So
Dude,
nice and
I do
safe.
like the Citadel cancel. Very mind gamey for a series BO5 play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Shiroime is probably thinking SE has committed to the DT.
Mm-hmm.
I do would like to see a second SCV to scout this,
Mm.
to
Oh,
see the Nexus.
it should be noted that Essie's saying that he was sick when these games were played. So maybe he's Johning right now, but I do know that he was saying he was sick earlier. So maybe that is contributing a little bit. Maybe he thought about doing like Citadel, and then he just changed his mind because it got scouted, and
Yeah,
he I can only imagine like it might not be a confident cancel, you know what I mean? It's not like a mind game cancel, it's kind of like fuck cancel, you know? So
I do know some tosses when they get their Citadel scouted, they do like a balls to the wall 4 gate speed lock all
mm,
in. Um,
yep.
I do know that has worked on me a few times in
Yeah, been there, done that to you. Yeah, so
Dude, it's wild. It how the fuck do you beat that?
I don't know.
Mad Minds?
Yeah, good SimCity. And yeah, he's really worried about these DTs now. The turret on the ramp, I like it. The mines going up the ramp, I like it. Doesn't know the fact that there's no DT coming anytime soon. I would have liked to see maybe a second SCV scout at this point, like just to check the main, see what's going on there. He might have, like seen the Dragoon count and known that DT is no longer coming towards him in that situation. And yeah, SC looks like he's just going to like a slightly delayed normal mid game now. No robotics yet, for example. Like the Citadel and the cancel definitely hurt him. Not mining his natural gas either, but he's kind of over gas, so not that big of a deal right now. Um, yeah, in general, I suggest that you don't get your second gas this early in PvT unless you're going for like fast Arbiter. You generally get your gas when it's time for you to get your Citadel, and it's time to get your Citadel either in response to a 5-fac or when you're starting to think about teching up into Arbiters. That's when you should start getting your second gas. This is a little bit early, too much of an investment, he's not even using it, you know? And still no Robo. I'm puzzled by this. Meanwhile, I'm sure that Shiro is puzzled by the absence of DTs anywhere. um,
If I were in Shiro's position and I saw no DT, the next response I'll probably do is probably build an academy to see what he's up to. Maybe he's opting for a 2-gate Stargate.
yeah,
But
fast
either
arm.
way, you want to get the intel because no DT means he's up to something else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see a probe kind of tucked away in the corner for Essie, and a vulture is at 12 o'clock for Shiro. One thing I like to do with my vulture is not just leave it here, you patrol it from here to here, and that way you will find this base. You would have denied this probe most likely. And Essie going for that macro play. He, even before robotics, oh actually never mind, robotics did start before the Nexus, but still. Robotics a little bit delayed, third a little bit early, definitely a blind. So if Shiro does a 5-fac in this game right now, I think it might be viable. Even if it's slightly delayed. But I don't think he's going to be going for that. He is going for the armory instead. No academy yet either, notably. So, looks like both players are going to be doing macro alone on their halves of map again. Making units, not really moving around, not really getting any mine coverage, not really denying mines because of no ops.
Yep.
Just kind of
Very
like,
much standard PvT play.
yeah, well, I mean, just lacking a little bit of the movement and
Yeah, the
the
movement aspect
scouting.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we do see a dropship play. Very, I guess, proactive measure on Shirohime.
Yeah, he hasn't tried it yet. What's called in this series, and I think that this is a good opportunity to do so. He could have taken that extra vulture with him, but I think he's gonna fly by. And given the fact how late the observers were for SC, I mean, he is gonna get one out now. But all of his dragoons are out of position. This is what's dangerous when your observers aren't in the Terran base at a good timing. You can get blindsided by a drop like this and be completely out of position.
The speed is gonna be a little late, but I'd love to see him play some mines.
Yeah, in front of the gates, so that the next round of Dragoons
Oh, I don't
guaranteed
know if
gets
I
right.
agree with the pros attacking this.
Almost worked out, but not quite.
Wow, he's losing a lot. This is
Yeah.
at least like 6 to 7.
I think laying the mines first would have been a good call, outside the gateways, and then gone for the
Yep.
mineral line, because it's not like the probes have anywhere that they can really run away to. And, I
Still,
mean,
a very solid amount of damage though.
yeah, no doubt.
Meanwhile, we see a fourth behind this. He said,
Yeah.
fuck you, I lost all my probes, but I'm gonna remake that with the extra Nexus that I have. I got this.
Yeah, this is the risky kind of play that I feel like really only works at lower levels when Protoss isn't aware of any of the bases. Like, look at this Vulture at 12 o'clock. If this Vulture was patrolling,
Yeah.
I don't think this fourth base would have gone up. I think the third would have been in trouble earlier. And the only reason that it's allowed to happen is because they're both playing effectively blind. Another thing I would have liked to see is while that drop was happening in the in the main of SC, Shiro could have sent another couple of vultures to run into the natural. That double bang for your buck is always, it feels so horrible as a Protoss. You just transferred your probes there, now they're getting slaughtered. You overcommitted to the drop defense. But he's gonna come in here now, and there's too many Dragoons here. He's gonna have to fly away. Good reaction time though. Now the question is, you know what I would like to see, if he drops into the third base, he can deny mining there for so long because of that what's called the pylon wall. The Dragoons can't go up there and save it, right? So
Yep.
he needs to scout that soon. Otherwise, this is gonna be another SC macro game massacre with
Yeah,
pure
and
Dragoon.
again, he has 4 observers at his trope, just going out now. Still has no idea what Shiroime is doing on his end.
Yeah, and speaking of what Shiro is doing, he's getting a third base. I wouldn't say it's really that fast because it is off 4 factories, it is after drops, but it is it's a decent timing for it. And the dropship now, he must have scanned, and it's going to
Very
deny
nice,
mining
very
at this
nice.
third. Yeah,
Yep.
it's going to deny a lot. I would like to see him drop like 2 vultures on the high ground and 1 vulture on the low ground, because now that SC has walled up even the natural, he can kill all these probes basically if he just split up his vultures a little bit more. And actually, he might kill all of them anyway. Look at this. So many probes go down. Great
Yup,
play.
and then drop at natural.
Yup.
The probes do run away, forcing 4 cannons.
But he might be able to deny some of these cannons at least. He just needs to unload. He just needs to unload. Oh, he's chasing the probes? I think it would have made sense to, like, leave the vultures on that high ground, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, start shooting at the Nexus, like, get it down to the very low health. Might not necessarily kill it with 3 vultures, but then what you do with the follow-up is you drop 2 siege tanks. You siege outside the vision of the Nexus, and you take down the Nexus with like 2 or 3 volleys of siege tank fire. That's the 1-2 punch, basically, when you get Protoss in that kind of situation.
And again with these cannons, making SE so broke. What an overextension.
Yeah, you definitely don't need 3 cannons. Alright? I can understand 1 close to the wall, maybe, and 1 in the mineral line, maybe, but 3 in the mineral line, 4 in the mineral line, that's so OD.
Yeah, it's showing through supply difference as well.
Yeah, another one in his natural, another one in his main, even though Dragoon's already there, and he's still only on 4 gateways. Those, like, 8 cannons could have been 8 gateways, and he could have just sent, like, 1 or 2 Dragoons to each base. It's not like although, actually, I was about to say, it's not like Shiro is pushing anytime soon, but looking at the siege tank count...
Yeah, and he's making 2 more cannons at his natural. 3!
Oh
and
my
1
god,
at his
Essie.
main, dude.
Essie, no. Essie, we
This
talked
is a
about
different
this,
style in
Essie.
supply.
Dude,
Like, now
this push...
Shiroime is pumping up in factory.
This push could be
Going up
scary
to
as
7?
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is largely due to the cannons, the overextension.
And again, I mean, there's nothing preventing scouting of these factories, but as
Another
he continues...
drop at great load. Going back to the
Where?
dropship at 11 o'clock.
Oh, here's this... Oh, I thought it was going to be a siege tank coming out of this. Siege tank would have really been... It's kind of like, hey, you made cannons, haha, right?
Yeah.
Like, fuck your cannons,
Dude,
bro.
and another 2 more cannons at SC's main. This is OD.
3 cannons at the 4th base.
We have a oh my god, and another 3 at his 4th at
Yeah.
11 o'clock at natural. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, Essie is just throwing, dude. Just throwing so hard. And
This is a total of 16 cannons, folks.
And by the way, still not a single scout on any of the factories. Not checking the factory count. He knows the 3rd is up, but he never looked at the factory count. He would know that 4 gates is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
4 gates and pure Dragoon production against 7 factories, going to be 8 factories. I
Like,
think,
I do understand that the cannons were a response to the dropship, but it seems like the dropship got more mileage it should have.
yeah, and way too many cannons, you know? Like, he did more economic damage to himself making cannons
Yeah.
than losing the probes did,
Yeah,
you know?
no, think about it. Like, those cannons could have gone into gateways, and now Shirohime is solidly going up to 9 factories,
Yeah,
while SE is still on 4 and Pure Dragoon. This cannot work out
yeah,
in his favor.
Shiro is he's defending SE in the chat saying he made those because I dropped in. Well, duh, we know that. We're just saying that he made way too many. What is name one thing that that 3 cannons can do that 1 cannon can't, you know? Like this is overkill, and I thought that SE would know better. Maybe it's just he didn't want to deal with it, like he's just panicking maybe. But either way, it's just not a good look. He's 30 supply down now, and this push is going to be massive. I think he's
Yeah,
waiting
we
for the
got the
2-1.
14-minute Citadel.
And he has double pumping forges already, by the way. And
Wow.
this is, I mean, obviously it's because his arbiters are already delayed anyway, so he can afford it in terms of gas. And he has a decent amount of gas
Dude, and
mining,
I
but
want to say more cannons at 12 o'clock. And the reason why I keep bringing these cannons up is these could have been cannons going all the way into unit count and
Mhm.
gateways. But
Yeah.
instead, it's going to static defense, which is something you always want to mitigate
Yeah,
if
and
not needed.
static defense. What does static defense do against siege tanks? You know, what I mean, you can't bring your static defense to help defend against this push. And as I talk about a push, the unsiege from Shiro in the natural, the vessel is out. The +2 just finished, I believe. So it's +2. It's not a 2-1. I think maybe does he have a second armory? I don't think so. But +2 is still good enough. One armor is not that big of a deal. And this is, and Essie's probably looking at this. He's like, "Oh fuck," because that's a
Yeah.
scary push.
This seems like just 1A, 2A territory for Terran.
Yeah, he could just use the pom poms on this. I don't think he needs to siege up. I mean, maybe no. So many more tanks coming out. So many more vultures. Could clean up the light rallies a little bit. Could start. Oh, he's maxed. He's at
And we are
198.
still on 4 gateway,
Essie, what
mind
is
you.
this? Essie, what is this, my guy? You had so many gateways last game.
It's a complete turnaround
And
from
look,
last game.
again, look how many Dragoons there are. Not like only 2 Zealots out here. No vision of the push at all. Only observers are with the army. No vision over the factories. No vision, period. Just not. Essie showing his mortality in this league right now. Shiro showing the strength of 1400 MMR Terran. Shiro saying, I never know what exactly to go for with such a death push. In general, going for their natural is not a bad idea. You kind of want to just kill an army, like force them to take a bad trade, and then you kill their natural. You probably won't be able to force your way into their main because high ground defense with arbiter and speed lots is super annoying. But what you can do is then after you kill their natural, you lay a bunch of mines. You leave like 1 siege tank so that the Protoss thinks that you're still there. Excuse me, and then you just push to the next base and you just kill all the bases that are easy to hold. But SC with the counterattack, this is probably his only option. But there are siege tanks already here. There are mines coming up. Only 2 Zealots to drag mines. I mean, 1 siege tank on the high ground, and with just those 3 tanks, I think he would be able to hold all these Dragoons, honestly, and with the production coming out. He is panicking a little bit, though. He's not continuing with his push. He's not choosing to defend or continue the attack.
It seems like he's very focused on this backstab, if anything.
Yeah, and I mean, he is laying a lot of mines, but you need to keep pushing at the same time or decide to defend. These tanks moving out all the way out here, not the best play. I would have kept them on the high ground. That would have denied this outright. And this is becoming closer than it should be. I mean, these Dragoons are going to get cleaned up, but losing just... Oh, Shiro's going to try to push uphill. I don't agree with this. With only 4 tanks? And, oh my god, Essie's still building pure Dragoon. Essie, what is this? You know better than this, my guy.
SE!
Oh, this is going to be fatty mine. Boom. Okay, nice. Siege up at the factories. And on the high ground. Siege up here. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. The reinforcements arrive. The push can now continue. And he kind of has like 3 groups of tanks. I feel like it would be better if he just had like 1 that he sent back to defend. And then 1 that he sent out to keep attacking. I guess that is the... I mean, he's already doing well. I think he's doing well for his level. I guess that would be like the next step. The next thing that you want to be looking to do. is what's it called, like, try to work on your multitasking so you can push and defend at the same time.
Yeah. I do like this from Shiro, diverging his army.
Hmm.
One to pressure at his main, and the other to just
Yeah, take
what
out
is
these
take on
bases.
some additional expansions. Very
Yeah.
good.
And no gateways from SC at any of the other mains, and still is such a huge supply lead. Okay, this
Oh, he
is
has
a...
to watch out his tank at his main. Oh my
Oh,
god,
oh
no
god.
vision. It's gonna hurt.
And yeah, and he became overambitious pushing into the Protoss main here. Just containing would have been fine. He didn't need to go all the way up here, and I think he recognized that now. He's going to stay here. Pushing into where the Protoss has a ton of gateways is always so hard. That almost never worth it. And this push at the fourth base, he could have split off a couple tanks to go to the top here, and a couple tanks to go here. And SC just, I think, throwing down desperation next side, knowing that his gateway count's not enough, knowing that Dragoons are not working. SC saying in the chat that he only recently found out about running zealots through minefields. That's not even the major proponent of them. It's also the fact that they force splash damage from other tanks onto the vultures. It forces splash damage onto tanks. The mine drags themselves against good players are not often going to do all that much. Oh my god, speaking of mine drags, holy shit!
Ouch. Hacker mines.
Oof, yeah. And yeah,
That's the
GG.
GG. Yep.
Yeah, well played by Shiro. I like the fact that he was taking a fourth behind this as well. It should be noted. Definitely being proactive. Could have taken it a little bit earlier. Excuse me. But yeah, great macro, great play. And I think if I was Shiro, what I would do is I would just do the same exact thing next game. Whatever the map is, I would go for dropship play. Because seeing
Yeah.
how SE reacted to it was really sus for me. And you know what I think I would also do? I would
What?
I would opt to go for like a really tank heavy composition against SE
Yeah,
because
knowing that he's going goon heavy. Yep.
yeah.
I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go grab a beer real quick. So yeah, guys, we'll give you like a let's do like a 2 minute break, real quick. I'm gonna put it back on this, and we'll be right back. Okay, boys, I'm back.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back too? Okay, my bad. So let's go into the next game. So this
Yep.
puts Shiro up 2-1 against SE. And let's see what map SE chose. SE chose Medusa. Interesting map choice. I mean, Terran complain about this map so much, but I feel like there's so many things that Terran can do well on this map as well. Like the pushes through the mineral onlys by killing the temples. The
The biggest complaint from Tyron is the inability to build turrets in middle, right?
Yeah, and the middle is pretty damn open as well. It should be noted.
Yeah, but
But
it's a smaller space than what you usually see for like modern style of play.
yeah, and I think that the bridges. I mean, that's the other difficulty too is you can't build right on the bridges either. You can't depot block that choke point, but it still doesn't seem like it's that bad of a third base to take, third gas rather. Maybe it's also because Protoss can split the map favorably, right? Two mains to one. So that could be another factor, but I feel like Terran definitely has some strong mid-game options, and we'll see
Yeah.
if Shiro is going to opt for that here. But speaking not of Shiro, but of Essie, he spawns here as the red Protoss.
And on the 6 o'clock position, we have the white Terran Shiro.
Hmm. Oh crap! Still have my splash screen up. Sorry guys, Noobcaster. I got you. I got you. Thank you. No, 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 no. That's not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. Sorry guys. Good catch. All right. So as we were saying, the peach Terran down here and the red Terran, red Protoss in the top left. We're in the game now. Now let me show what I was talking about earlier a little bit. So, and I think that oh, well, Shiro said it in the game as well that Protoss has an advantage on this map in theory, but I think that siege tank pushes through this high ground temple could be really strong because then you're in this place where it's really impossible to flank siege tanks, and you can climb all the way to the mineral line here. You could post up behind their main mineral line. So, and especially in a position like this, where as you're pushing to the Protoss main, you're going to pass by this temple anyway. So you might as well kind of take it down and leave it open for Vulture Harass in the future, or for just putting up siege tanks to prevent Protoss from moving out easily. Definitely a lot of options for Terran on this map, even if it is slightly Protoss favored.
I do know Protoss back in the day, they like to go 10-15.
Mm-hmm.
Infamously, Noni, I believe, utilized this build as well.
Yeah.
And he got a great amount of success with.
Quark, also the legendary
Yeah.
100 APM Protoss from Great Britain, got like B plus when it was difficult or something like that. Now Essie, he's struggling from what I call Medusa syndrome. So what happens is when you send your probe to scout the other person's main, but you click on the high ground, the probe keeps trying to walk through this temple without realizing that it can't. So now he's finding out, and now he's gonna go scout the. So wait, in the fog of war, you have to send it to right here where the low ground base is in order to scout properly.
Can't hear you.
Shit, am I? Has no one heard me this whole time? Wait, what? No,
Hello?
they can hear me. Okay. Testing 1 2 3. Hello? Phasers is dead. Sorry, guys. You killed him. But what the hell is this? Look at where I paused this. I did not expect this. Alright. Testing 1 2 3.
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
There we go.
Alright,
Sorry
so
about that, folks.
all good, all good. Do you see this pylon? What the hell is this?
Proxy, maybe?
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit. I mean, you can't. I don't know if you can call it a proxy if it's.
Oh!
Yeah. All right. Hidden.
It was either hidden, proxy, or just cute mind games. Like, I'm gonna hide the third pylon.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. It's annoying.
Something, yeah.
But hidden citadel. I think that should be a decent play on this map. I mean, low ground obviously favors DT play because you can't block your ramp with SCVs to buy yourself time for detection. There is no wall at the natural here, and Zealot first as well, so he's gonna cut down on the marine count a little bit, maybe throw some harassment Shiro's way. No, he decides to go back home. That's his nice, saving all the main HP on that Zealot, so good stuff there. One thing to note, no range being upgraded. No even fake range, no +1 air. So Shiro should suspect that something's up after seeing that, I think.
No doubt.
He has to know. He has to see the fact that there's no scan, and he has to react to it. Oh, that's unfortunate. He trapped an SV. Shiro. Yeah, Shiro in the chat saying, what am I doing? He's going 2 facts behind this. 2 fact could work if you're doing like the tank vulture variant. Definitely not the tank marine variant. That one just gets hard countered by DT. But if you're making tanks and vultures and you get mines on time, I think he could hold this. I mean, mine upgrade is started. Templar Archives is done though. First
I
DT.
don't think he scouted the third pylon, or was even aware.
Yeah, I don't think he was aware of
Judging
that.
by his reaction.
Yeah, he's. You don't
Why
go
not?
too
And
fast
is the Dark
against this.
Templar even necessary? He might be able to poke.
Uh,
No. Too low on shield.
Yeah, both units. Good job keeping the tank health alive. And I should know that it's 2-gate DT, which is definitely the more all-in variant. Normally you can go 1-gate DT expand, but 2-gate DT is kind of saying like I'm going for it. Yeah, Shiro's saying in the chat that he was so late going for his second factory. Undeniably true. And actually, if he cleans this... Oh, he needs to lay these defensive mines now. He has already enough the map control to get his expansion up and going. Lay the mines. That is the whole entire point of the FD.
Right now. And he did kill the Zealot to prevent any mine drags, but this might be a little too late as the Dark Templar is approaching.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No mines is no bueno.
Let's might be it, folks.
Yeah, it just walks right by. Oh, no, never mind. It goes back to... Ooh, and now Shiro's like... Yo, that's a premature GG. He has 3 vultures. He has 3 vultures. He could have laid mines. Shiro, what are you doing, man? You're throwing the series. Yeah, Shiro's saying, oh my god, I had mine in GG. Yeah, in the heat of the moment, I can definitely appreciate how difficult it is to keep your cool, but if you have...
Yeah, dude, that first slice is such a scary sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, fuck.
We were debating what sounds to use for my like stream followers, stream sub, whatever, right? And I was like, you know, like looking through the entire library of sounds for Brood War, and I on like YouTube on these other channels, and I heard the siege tank sieging up sound, and I was like, oh fuck that, right? Imagine like I'm playing and in the middle of the game you just hear the siege tank sieging up sound loud as shit. That gives me a panic attack every time. But the DT slice was another suggestion as well. But
dude, honestly, I wouldn't sub.
Yeah.
That shit would freak me out, dude.
No, Father said that he would like follow and unfollow, follow and unfollow to make
control tab my browser tabs. I'm like, oh fuck.
Okay, so Azrael and Essie. Game 5 is going to be on Coliseum, which is an interesting map for PvT. There's definitely some aggressive advantage on this map, but there's also a bit of greed. That's... Oh my god, I left... I started without you again. I'm sorry, dude. Anyway, Game 5... I keep forgetting about you, dude.
Folks. That's it for me. Have a good day.
Nah, you haven't been... You're not allowed to leave. Your services are still required. You're not gonna get paid if you leave now.
Yo, my life for Chobo.
My life for Chobo. Okay, game's up.
Ooh, Coliseum, good choice for the counter. Are there 5 maps in the pool?
Yeah, I think
okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a choice. It was just a matter of fact.
But still a good map to have in the bag.
Yeah. So, well, on the other hand, it could be the fact that Shiro, this is the map that he likes the least. That could also be an option. So
maybe he wanted to end it as soon as possible.
Yeah. All right. So cross positions. I think that this works out better for Protoss cross positions. Because first of all, Protoss can go for 12 Nexus on this map quite comfortably, and it's going to be a lot harder for Terran to do anything about it when they're cross-position. Because Terran, one of the big things that they can do as an advantage is by like bunkering on this high ground and then putting siege tanks up here and containing while taking another main, for example, or taking their third base earlier. But with cross-map, I don't think it's going to be as likely. It's not going to be likely for us to see that. Conversely, Protoss also can't go 10-15 that well either, I think.
Right.
Mr. Sis in the chat got me panicked because he said you look handsome. I thought for a second that maybe my my webcam was on somewhere and I didn't realize it. I was about to be panicking because I'm like I'm in my boxers, you know, drinking a beer.
Sipping a beer,
Yeah.
yeah.
You look handsome. My hair is like standing up, you know, like oh man.
And I
Anyway,
was about to clean up quick.
yeah, I was like, "Oh crap." Yeah. Anyway, uh oh, sorry about that, guys. So Gateway coming up for SC, Barracks coming up for Shiro, and it doesn't seem like anything is out of the normal
Yeah,
this game
so far
either.
very standard gameplay as we've seen for most of the 5 games, besides the game 4, where SC
Yeah.
decided to go for. Definitely did like that too. Like on the verge of losing,
Mhm.
just throw that in the mix, shake your opponent. I feel like now
Yeah.
he has the momentum going into this.
Yeah. And should be. It's kind of odd the fact that he's behind in supply against Terran. I think isn't. I'm pretty sure Protoss supposed to be ahead. Like they're supposed to get the probes earlier than Terran, but not that big of a deal. Maybe just that sickness continuing. Yeah, like idle Nexus right now. No cybernetics core started at by 270, but no big deal. Just a little itty bitty losses here and there. But he does force the SV to stop building the barracks. I don't think that was absolutely necessary, but it's gonna work out anyway. And let's see what the follow-ups are going to be. Are we going to see a second depot? Or are we going to see a factory, command center? Looks like I thought for a second he was going to go for the command center. I was like, gas command center doesn't make much
Definitely
sense.
high disagree with you with that.
Yeah.
Given that there's no ramp,
Mhm.
very very risky play.
So here's the factory. SCVs are still on gas. As we said before, for an aggressive push, you should keep the SCVs on until 88, and then you can take off 2. Looks like he's keeping them on a little bit longer. Might be a 2-fac. Not with a second depot, though, right? It has to be... You get the 2 factories before the second depot, right? When you go 2-fac?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not going to happen. It is a good scout from SC, but Shiro is going to scout as well. And he's going to see 1 gateway. No 10-15 either for him. So, both players not really doing anything to abuse the high ground position on this map quite yet, from what I can tell. Yeah, now he takes it off the gas, and yeah, this is one thing that Shiro has done consistently. I feel like been off on is the gas management. He's been taking them off late, putting them back on early. Definitely needs to rethink that. Just as a general rule of thumb, Shiro, take your SCVs off gas when the factory is started, or at 88 gas
88.
when
Yep.
you're
88 is the
doing
magic
strong
number.
when you're doing strong FD, for example, and put them back on gas only after the command center has started. Alright, so that's just for later. And usually immediately after is fine. You know, you could start a second factory or an engineering bay and then add them back on gas, I believe. But immediately after is fine. And actually, so it's going to be comparable expansion times. Command center going down a little bit before the Nexus. 1 gate Nexus, 1 fac CC. Very standard opening games, opening builds for both players here in Game 5. eBay, playing it safe. I don't think the SCV saw any information that would indicate that an eBay is necessary. I think this would have been the perfect opportunity to go FAC CC FAC. This
Mhm.
On a map where getting high ground control is so important, FAC
But
CC FAC would
maybe
work.
that's where even the Dark Templar from last game, it's
Ooh,
like even affecting him this game. Like
great
it might
point.
be just a threat on his mind. Like
Mhm.
this is game 5. Like I need to play it safe.
Great point. Great
Like
point.
he just DT rushed me. Like who knows, you know?
Yeah, yeah, can definitely agree with that. Can definitely see what you're talking about there. And yeah, the first turret is going to be a DT turret. I would have liked to see that at the probably at the natural. Yeah, and is that a second turret? Yeah, it is.
Yep.
All right, 2
Oh
more.
my God, tank just comes out very late considering his opening.
Yeah. I'm not sure about very late, but it definitely felt a little bit delayed. Although, I'm not even sure if that's 100% true, but I'm questioning this aggressive move out with the tank and 5 Marines. That is a little bit suspect.
The
I mean,
5-minute FP.
5-minute FD with no Vulture, no SCV. So worker transfer is going down now, and actually SC's transfer is a little bit more timely, so he's going to benefit from having the other base before Shiro does, and the first SCV comes out for later than SC. So even though he was later to the Nexus, he took advantage of it earlier. It's kind of showing maybe who's got a little bit more awareness into this game 5. It's kind of like it's like a stat check, you know what I mean? Like right before you go into
Yeah.
a fight, you look at someone's stats to determine like, oh, all right, so he won the last like 5. Or there's like, well, in this case, well, you know, SE mined his natural minerals faster than Shiro in like 2 games out of 3 or something like that. Uh, yeah, Shiro asked, you said I put back on gas after putting down the CC, right? Yeah, and I think that that's generally what you want to do. You want to start mining that gas again because you do want to start adding factories. You do want to start going to armory, so on and so forth. And I think you might want to reconsider how you're rallying your SCVs also because I think they're blending in with the ones that are mining for you, so you're not noticing how they're not mining anymore. Um, but yeah, just minor notes. Obviously, no one's perfect, and this is, of course, the Rookie Star League, so it's not like we're expecting perfection. Just want to give you a little tip. That's all. And thank you for the follow. Nonsense News. Nonsense WS. Okay, yeah, Nonsense WS. Okay, I don't know why I read that wrong. The beer is taking a hold of me. Anyway, it looks like Essie's kind of posturing for a fast third here. Dragoons on the high ground. Let's see.
Yeah, so far very standard gameplay from both.
And I mean, I like this choice from both players. They're keeping vision of the high ground, knowing the strategic and tactical value of this position here. So
No
they're
doubt.
making sure that they don't get caught with their pants down by like some aggressive position from the opponent. Nice scout from Essie as well with the probe. Maybe a little bit either late or unnecessary considering the
Oh
timing of
wow,
the
and
ops.
just as it matters, we did not see effective observer movement from
Yeah.
Messi, and it seems like when it counts for Game 5, he is getting the information he wants.
Well,
So very, very proactive play. This is exactly what you want to do, especially when you're getting your third, just to get a response from the Terran's end. If he's going for a timing push, you want to slap those gates in as soon as possible. If he's going for a fast third, then proceed as is. So I would love to see this observer just moving more.
yeah, I was about to say, I think you complimented him a little bit too early there, my
Yeah,
guy,
right?
because this observer's not
He
going
said, "Let me
nowhere.
surprise you," and you have surprised me. But
uh,
considering the games I've seen in the past, why should I be surprised at this point?
Although, to be fair, there's really only one angle that he could come in from to see this factory
Yeah,
count,
from
and that's...
top to bottom.
No, from
Or
bottom to
bottom to
top,
top.
yeah. I think this
Or
turret
bottom
can...
to top works as well.
Ooh,
Good
but
point.
he mannered his tank inside here. Oh, that's
Oh
so
my
big.
god.
That's so huge. First of all, I have no idea how the fuck that happened. Second of all,
I
that's
don't
huge,
know.
because...
It might be like an SCV in the way or something from the spawn point.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it was building the factory that was under this one, and...
It's like he's going for a timing push, and it definitely does matter.
Yeah,
since
one
everything-
tank out of 5, losing
Wow.
20% of your push, basically. And there is a fair amount of Dragoons. One thing we can know for sure about Essie at this point is that he's good at making Dragoons. That's one thing we know
Yeah.
for sure. And he's good at making cannons too. Okay, alright, I'm pausing the game. This is... Why cannons now? Why cannons here? This... What is this? Just why? There's
My
no...
man on blast.
There's no drops. There's 4 cannons in the main.
Yeah, it's not
3
like
in the
a
natural.
yeah, it's not like a stray expansion where vultures are probable to pick off. This is your main natural. I'm not sure the reasoning behind this.
And on top of this, the only base that is actually exposed to vulture harass, like legitimately speaking, has 0 cannons on it. I'm so done, dude. Castle saying this dude really hates vultures. I respect it. Yeah, I know the mentality
Big
behind
facts,
it.
big facts. Fuck vultures.
Oh, but this
Oh my
Dragoon
god,
placement.
poor approach. He's gonna lose both of these tanks.
Oh god, and already being
Right
and no
before even the
mines.
push starts.
Wait. These mines though, these mines could be massive.
Hacker mines?
No. Oh, he killed himself with those mines more than. Oh, what?
We do not see any hacker mines, fortunately for him, but the goons definitely did eat up a lot of mine damage.
Alright, I was about to say.
Questionable play on both ends.
Yeah. And only pure vultures being made off Shira, no macro really during that
Still
engagement.
does not realize this trap tank. Poor tank. My master surgeon is just trapped behind mineral line. It's like, fuck, this is my life.
Master Surgeon, are you you in med school?
Dude, that's the tank role.
Master Sergeant, bro, not surgeon.
Damn.
Alright, now I feel better about my own mispronunciations and such from earlier. But it is concerning, though, because if you think about it, this is the only tank he has out on the map right now, right?
Yep.
Like, if Essie only scouted slightly better, he could just walk in and win this game right now, honestly.
Yep, exactly.
So better scouting is so crucial, and better scouting would have prevented the addition of these 7 cannons, 8 cannons. Um,
Oh shit, he has 4 cannons in his main. Oh my
yeah,
god.
dude, this is. Oh,
And still with the mass goon. Seems like this is the theme of the series.
yeah, Master Goons, 5 gateways in this same exact placement, by the way, too.
Yeah, right?
Every single time. I mean, this is a good placement. Don't get it. Actually, no, this isn't good. The Dragoon to the off the 5th one is gonna spawn in the gas, I think.
I guess one takeaway is SE is good at practicing builds, but not in an effective way.
Yeah, and I mean, also builds kind of stop usually at around like 30 supply or so, like the effective component of them,
Would
right?
you say this is more of muscle memory, if anything?
Yeah, not just that, but it's also like the decisions
On pure autopilot? Yeah.
the decisions
No
afterwards with the
decision-making behind it.
cannons and the forge too. Like you never see a pro player go cannons and forge before they get arbiter basically, unless it's against drop play. So that's just something to consider. But by the way, thank you, Mr. Sis, for the follow. And oh damn, I looked away for a second. Minimap went crazy. Okay, that was an insane mine lay. I think he magic boxed with what, like 10 vultures at once. Instant magic box. Okay, here comes the push. Pure Dragoons unfortunately cannot
It
push
could
these
work,
tanks.
no? Because
No.
he only has 2 tanks.
Oh yeah, and
behind
they're
this.
not on the high ground. But I guess SC
Oh,
doesn't
watch
know.
out! Oh my god! Oh my god! These magic box mines. Hacker mine. Let's go.
Oh
Catches
no,
a break.
Hacker Goons. Yeah, Hacker Goons.
Hacker goon.
And the tanks have to reposition now. Oh, more tanks rolling
Nice.
out now.
I like
Finally.
this, high ground tank.
Yeah.
Forces to good, good.
Yeah, as you were saying earlier, I mean, he might have been able to push through this with his Dragoon count, but first of all, he didn't know how deep the tank line goes.
Yep,
And
that's
the-
where the observer comes into play.
Yes, the bad scouting, once again limiting his opportunities. I would have my observer like just parked right here, right outside this turret
So-
range.
For a Protoss, you typically want observers in, I believe, two places, at least in this map.
Mhm.
One is the center choke,
Yeah,
where the Terran units are rallied, and 2 is the main base to get
Yeah.
your own factory count.
yep. And then what I do as well is I usually have a third observer around the area of their third in case they want to float
Mhm.
their third.
Okay, yep. Float
yeah.
their third, or even like Vulture
Yeah.
run by.
Yeah, so you kind of just keep it in that area just so you can see when they're thinking about taking a third, and that's kind of your cue as to what build they're going for. If they're not thinking about taking a third for quite some time, that means that they're going for like a 5-fact push. Let's just assume that you couldn't get your observer into the
Right.
main base, right? You know that it has to be a push if he's not getting a third base. And same thing applies if you do see the command center building on the low ground, for example. It's like, okay, he's going to try to expand with only 2 factories. I have the choice of either out expanding him or taking or denying this third outright. But in the meantime, Shiro being a little bit more proactive on the map with the vultures now, which is something I like to see. He's found the base again. It's reminiscent of the first game, I think, on Heartbeat. He finds the base. See that doesn't have mines to lay. Only 1 mine
Does not
left.
seem like it, yep.
Yeah, only 1 mine to lay. I mean, if
It's
he
still good. Forces the Protoss to worry about additional
yeah, and
harass.
the obs are on follow command for the forward dragoons. It's as opposed to leading with the obs. The obs are always going to trail behind the dragoons. That makes no sense. They're
Yeah.
definitely on follow. But the Nexus did get hurt pretty bad. As I said before, the follow-up to this could often be just getting a dropship and 2 siege tanks. 2 siege tanks would take down this Nexus in like 4 or 5 volleys.
One thing to note is Shiroime is not transferring SCVs at all. His main is extremely saturated, and there we go. A little too late, if I had to say.
Yeah, he was distracted by that, and I can understand the pull of that situation, like why you would want to just keep your eyes peeled for that what's it called, for that top right base, like you know, like watching the vultures, making sure. But at some point, you have to realize that you're not really doing much, right? Like those
Right.
vultures, they could have just been left there on attack command on the Nexus and just forgotten about for the rest of time, basically.
Especially if you don't have mines, like, why even
Yeah.
bother?
Yeah, SE Johnning in the chat saying he doesn't remember adding so many cannons, but SE, I think he's been shook by those drops from the other game. So we talked about the DTs shaking up Shiro. I think the cannon production has been exponentially growing since game 3, I think. There's just an outrageous amount of cannons, and on top of the fact that there's too many of them and therefore they cost money, it's also mattering his mining a bit too. So he's getting less money per trip, like per second, I guess, as a result of this. It's just so many things overlapping that is wrong. But Speaking of wrong things, I mean, look at Shiro's money as well, though. He has a decent factory
Yeah,
count, but not macroing. Supply blocks
supply
abound.
blocked. Yep.
And
And Q's generally good on upgrade timing. Seems like a little
this
too
game,
late at this
yeah.
point.
This is +1 coming in? No, +2.
+2,
No, this
but without
+2.
the second armory.
Yeah, plus this +2 timing is not bad, but he should have been at like 180 supply minimum by now, and he
Yep.
easily could have if he wasn't so supply blocked. Um, I feel like yeah, but see, like now he can't really move. I mean, he's still very vulture heavy. If he had an additional like 2 or 3 tanks, actually no, hold up. I just go back to his natural and I see like 6 more tanks here, 8 more tanks. He can go now against this Dragoon composition. He can go now.
Especially with 2 vessels out.
Yeah, he can go now
I
immediately.
think the remainder of his macro should be focused on vulture.
Hmm.
And this would guarantee a safe win.
And he's
given
ahead in
the
eco.
composition.
Yeah, he's ahead in not eco. I'm sorry. He's ahead in supply now. Well, he was just a
Ooh,
moment ago.
one thing I do like to see from Messi right now is he's building gateways at his other main.
Hmm.
Something you want to see Protoss players do.
And another thing is he's building around a zealous from all the gateways in his main now too. So we've broken the curse. It's no more pure Dragoon play. I mean, all right, just out of interest, let's count. Oh, I was about to count. This is at least 2.5 control groups of Dragoons. 2.5, yeah, easily.
The Terran is pushing out.
Okay. Vultures forward, need to be careful here.
Scans the army.
Nice siege!
Great siege.
Yes.
Great siege. This is exactly where you want to be.
And now you
Yep,
just grab
let's
these
get back
back
up.
tanks.
Nice mines too to cover. Essentially no damage done on the Terrans.
Yeah, the problem is now though is he's probably gonna have to walk over these mines in order to push top right if that's where he's going, or he's gonna push diagonally, which is gonna be really, really tough. But regardless of which way he pushes, there's still not enough zealots to mine drag or to deny the push. I think there's more zealots being made now, but also more dragoons, which doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, Mr. Sis in the chat saying 10 facts on 3 bases would be nice. That's generally what you want to go for. I think we have 8 facts. Adding 2 more wouldn't hurt. And
speaking of the factory placement, I would love to see the bottom 2 factories more grouped up with the other 6.
yeah, and you can place depots down here because that seems to be his problem so far. You know what else I would like to see? I'd like to see a command center started in his third and floated to the what's called where the observer is from SE. You can easily push through that way as opposed to going directly through the low ground through the center. He could push up that narrow choke. Protoss can't stop him from doing it. He can mine up behind it, and then he can take that base for himself while taking the center choke for that whole entire network of 3 bases. And unfortunately for SE, this is the second main that he chose to take. He does have some control of the bottom left main as well, but losing control of that choke here would mean probably the death of that base and a lot of the probes here and a lot of the gateways as well. Big money went into
this battle is going to come down to mine placements.
Not just mine placement. I mean, so far it's also been Shiro's siege tank timing. Like he sometimes he just doesn't go siege mode. He just is like, it's too late. Might as well not.
Oh, is he going for the backstab, knowing that Shiro is going to commit to top right?
There are some tanks here still left over, but no mine coverage on the bottom.
This is a trait that can work out in his favor.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Shiroime is on 2 mining bases. Natural that to be mined out as well.
Yeah, and no 4th command center in sight. No flanking mines either. Flanking mines are so important. You don't want to just lay mines in the direction of where
he's going for the run around.
Okay.
Shiroime a little hesitant with his tank. He's gonna have to act on this.
Siege up now.
Shortly. Yep, siege up now.
Siege up now.
Mines. EMP would be nice, but he's gonna lose these 2 vessels. He's gotta
siege
be
up
careful.
now. Siege up now.
He lost 2 vessels for free.
Okay.
And the Arbiter about to get a money stasis on these clump tanks.
Oh my god, yeah, so many tanks clumped up. And I mean, there is reinforcements from the natural, but
I'm not sure about this.
Okay, the Dragoons wrapping around are making this a lot better of a trade for SE than it should be because this is still way too many tanks to approach with Dragoons, but it's still going to work out.
Wow, I mean, yes, another
oh my god.
Person. This might be it.
Another control group of pure Dragoon. Jesus Christ. Yeah. And wow, I mean,
this is muscle power right here.
This is pure macro, yeah. Oh yeah, this is where the fast ground upgrades come in from SE, from his early double forge and later Arbiter. You know, interestingly, who plays this style, who is a legend around these parts?
Who would that be?
Evil Eye. Evil Eye plays this style of
Shout
PvT.
out to Evil Eye, you're so fucking good, dude.
Mass Dragoons, mass ground upgrades. He goes double forge before Arbiter,
dude,
like
Evil
every game.
Eye's my dude. He's so good.
Tier 1 Evil Eye, the most successful player in the first season of CPL, and SC taking some pages out of his book, whether knowingly or not. So,
Oh, and Shiroime is mined out of his natural. This is not looking good.
yeah, losing all that tank count was tragic for him.
I also would love to see SE build reinforced. As I
Oof.
say that, that's GG.
Yeah. I mean, it almost worked out for Shiro. Just some mines around the map would have given him enough forward notice to reposition his tanks and prevent the counterattack from happening. The tanks in in the fourth base of SE were
Yeah.
killing the gateways and stuff. They were making their way to the Nexus.
Yep, and I wanted to say that before Shirohime pulled the plug.
Th-
I would love to have seen SE make like Zealous or DT to counter those tanks. I feel
Yeah.
like DT especially is very helpful,
Yeah, defensive
considering
DT.
the amount of multitasking involved.
Hmm.
So yeah, all in all, well played to both players. Definitely some improvements to be made, but good series.
Yeah, definitely great series for the round of 8. And this it should be noted, it's the second best of 5s, at least, that we know of, right? Because,
Yeah, that went to game 5.
yeah, so I'm saying we casted Game 5 of Bojack versus Jace Pliskin
Yep.
also. So that's 2 series that went to best of to 5 games. I mean, so clearly some of the cream of the crop coming out here. And speaking of the cream of the crop, congratulations to Fitress, aka Essie, aka Taco Bell Blast, for making it into the semifinals of the RSL.
Shoutouts.
And Shiroime, you put up a great fight. It was a nice try.
Definitely some promising play
Yeah,
if he improves some bits and pieces of his build.
yeah, absolutely. So definitely props to Shiroime as well for that. And now we're gonna take another quick like 5 minute break between the series. Sorry about that. Last one I imagine was a bathroom break for both of us, and now
Yep.
this one's definitely gonna be a smoke and vocal cord break for me. I need to take a little breather.
I'll be
Uh,
right back as well.
okay, so I'm gonna put on some tunes for you guys. Oh, and by the way, before I go, I would just want to remind you what we're going to be doing next. We'll be watching Conway Shifty. No, Conway Schmitty. No, what was it? It was just Conway.
Conway Twitty, I
Conway
believe.
Twitty, yes. Conway Twitty versus M Shift. And M Shift, shout outs to you in the chat, by the way.
Shout
Um,
out Stanship. Looking forward to your game.
okay, I'm going to put on that.
Alright, be right back,
Yep,
folks.
5 minutes, guys. Be right back.